night, whatever time it is, where you're listening. I am Rebecca Love, and this is Food for Thought. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? I hope you're doing great today. I have the pleasure of maybe 15 years of knowing, maybe even 20 actually, of a person that we started in the same restaurant, and he was fresh out of culinary school. None other than Mr. Dee Newson. Say hello.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I think this is a really dope concept you got here. I'm glad to be here. So
Thank you so much. This has been like in the works of trying to get together and have a conversation for like the last couple of months, and I am beyond excited. So let's dive in. Because I already know who Dee is, I want my audience to listen in and find out and explore who this amazing chef is and where he came from, where he started, where he has traveled, and who he has actually made dinner for and created something that was just absolutely beautiful. So let's dig in just a little bit.
Okay. So my name is D'Angelo Newson. I'm originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Where can I start? So yeah, my grandfather and I kind of got into food at a very young age.
Okay.
I knew around 12 that this is what I wanted to do.
At 12?
At 12,
Well,
I
most
knew.
people are outside playing.
Yeah, I did, and I was outside playing, but I knew I loved when I came in. When it was time to eat, I couldn't wait for that moment.
Okay.
I always paid attention to what my grandfather and my grandmother was doing. But yeah, at 12 years old, I knew this was for me. I gave my mom a call one day, and I was at home by myself, and she was just, I was starving.
Okay.
I just came from outside, and I was like, I do not want to eat this junk food that's in the cabinet. So I called, I was like, hey, I just pulled out some pork chops. I was like, could you walk me through how to make this?
Oh, nice. Okay.
And over the phone, while she was at the salon,
Right.
she walked me through this recipe. Maybe I was on the phone for maybe an hour, and may end up making pork chops, maybe like some collard greens and mac and cheese.
Wait, at the age of 12?
At the age of 12. And I was babysitting my little cousin at the time, and she was probably like 8
Okay.
at the time, and I ended up making it, ended up eating it all. After that, I really was like, you know what, I actually enjoyed doing this.
Okay.
And it turned out good. But I got exposed to the farming. My grandfather did a lot of farming. He did a lot of hunting. He took me hunting a lot, took me fishing a lot.
Okay.
And all that stuff we would do, we would bring back to the house.
And start preparing things from there.
Back then, I really wasn't into it, but it wasn't until I actually got into it when I got to culinary school.
At what age were you when you started culinary school?
I went to culinary school right. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh, no, you're
fine. I
fine.
went to culinary school right out of high school. So 18, went to Le Cordon Bleu in Atlanta. And once I got to culinary school, immediately, like that first class, everything that I had experienced with my grandfather, like, started to, like,
Come back,
started replenishing. And it was just like, I really started to get a feel for it. And I graduated 2009.
Okay.
Graduated 2009, was a 2-year program. I came back to Chattanooga, worked at Hennon's.
Okay.
Seafood and Steakhouse. That was my first job ever.
That was your first job. So
First job ever. I'd never worked.
Well, so ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening in, so this is where that was 2009.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was the birth of our friendship, and when we met each other, I actually was a hostess, but I always did the quality check on the food, and Dee would like sneak me food and be like, "Hey, Beck, taste this. What does it taste like?" But so I didn't realize 2009 was basically the birth of like you coming right out of culinary school, and you just kind of grew, and then I remember. You shortly after that, because we were there, maybe 5-6 years together?
4 years total.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right, because you left and I was still there. But it was very interesting because you went off to one of the like capital food eating places of the world, which is Chicago.
Yeah, I did. I left here after those 4 years. We ate. First of all, I had a newborn son at that time, and his mom was originally from Chicago.
Okay.
And that's how I got up there. She wanted to get back closer to her family, and I was really looking for an
Some
outlet,
experience.
yes.
Yeah.
So I would have went anywhere. She could have said we're going to like Alaska, and I would have went at that time.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And so yeah, we took us up to actually Champaign, Illinois, which is 2 hours south of Chicago.
Right. I've been there before.
And it's I started right then. I started working in a fine dining restaurant called Bacaro. It's Italian fine dining.
Okay.
And that's where everything really started to click.
Okay.
I got more exposure in this restaurant than I did in my 2 years of college.
Okay.
All types of cuisines all types of styles of cooking, homemade pastas, fresh bread, everything being from scratch. When I left Hennon's,
Right.
I actually thought that I thought I was good.
You thought you were great.
I thought I was pretty good.
The evolution of learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. And once I got to Bacaro, man, it was very humbling. And I almost quit after my second 2 weeks because it was.
Oh, was it overwhelming for you?
Yeah, it was just different.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
different. I didn't get that. I never got pushed the way I did in culinary school. Even at Hennon's, the vibe and that atmosphere, that fine dining atmosphere, just kind of brought a different form of perfection.
Yeah.
Out of like me wanting to be like a perfectionist with my craft. It was very intimidating. I was never set up on time before service.
Oh my goodness.
I had like 12 to 20 nicknames. The nickname that stuck the most was Wall Street because
Wall
they always
Street.
had to bail me out before 5 o'clock.
That is hilarious.
So it took me about 2 or 3 weeks to really get adapted, and really even getting adapted to the Midwest from the South was a big.
Oh, it's a total switch.
Yeah, it was a big switch
Yeah.
for me, and I had never been out of the South, so it was eye opening.
To say the least.
It was very eye opening, and yeah, once I started there, it was just it's been uphill from there. My first month there, I actually got to cook for Drake. That's
Oh.
when.
So there's that name dropping
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
talking
that-
about earlier.
It was, and it was unexpected. I was still fairly new to what they were doing, and Drake was actually just like up and coming artist at the time.
Okay.
And he did a concert there, and he just so happened to call the restaurant as we were closing.
Oh wow. Okay, that's how they do it.
Yeah.
That style.
Yeah, he called and said, "Hey, I just finished my concert. I'm bringing 25 people. We looked for the best restaurant in town, and this is where we were pointed. Like, this is where they showed us."
So that was your opportunity and stage to show up and show out.
Yeah, and I really didn't do much. We did lamb meatballs and spaghetti, and his 5 security guards had ribeyes well done and French fries. But those were the 2 dishes that they did, and they ended up showing up about 11 o'clock and stayed till about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning. Oh my goodness. But
I got
it
to
was
sit next to him like you and I right now and talk to him
Oh,
for
wow.
about 10 minutes.
so just the experience in that at all. But
Yeah.
you said something earlier that kind of struck me as far as how we are in life and what we're doing. You had been in the South all this time, and you thought you had met the pinnacle of your career,
Yeah.
and then you leaped out on faith with the newborn, went to Chicago and realized quickly that, oh my goodness, there is a whole other world.
Yeah.
And briefly when we had conversations via, texting, trying to get you on the show, you talked about, sometimes it's the journey of life.
Yeah.
Because where we think we're going, and there's certain situations that take place, and it's like, no, this is your actual path. You may have had to go through some trenches or whatever, but it wouldn't have shaped you to who you are today.
I agree.
So, because the food, ladies and gentlemen, I have not tried his new rendition of style of cooking, but you said something in your bio that people look at food first.
They eat with their eyes
You
first.
eat with your eyes first. And I was like, that stuck out because it is one of those things. It's like, it's all about presentation.
Yep.
It's all about, like the integrity of like the food, because the fact that your grandfather like took you under the wing and like showed you about, fishing, cleaning the fish and going out and, having a garden, having all the integrity of all these great, things. Like, it literally has built you up to who you are right now, here today, which, we're going to shift gears in a little bit and talk about who is Dee? Like, who is Chef Dee, and what are we doing, like, right now? But I said all that to say it is just a transformation of when you were 12, realizing that that's something that you wanted to do. What 12-year-old little boy calls their mom while they're at the hair salon to walk them through, because they didn't want to eat junk food, on pork chops and greens and macaroni and cheese?
Yeah.
You
I
were
was
destined.
determined.
Yeah,
I was
you were.
determined. I was determined to figure that out that day.
So that is so great. So tell me about, so this was 2009 when you left, and then you were there in Chicago. This puts us around maybe what, 2010, 11, 12 possibly?
2012.
Okay. And what direction did life take you at that point?
Well, once I got up there, I always had the Bacro job, the fine dining Italian spot. But like you said, going back to your point, I realized there was so much more out there. I tried out the vegan spots. I tried out working on some campuses, working in some dorms and some frat houses.
Okay.
And some sorority houses. I tried every little thing I could because I just wanted to try to take in as much as I can and add to my skill set.
Okay.
And then it started opening up to, I've gotten to do some events in Chicago, Bacon Fest. I've been a part of Bacon Fest three years in a row. We actually got second place my second year going.
Congratulations
with a
on
bacon
that.
s'more. We made a
Bacon s'more.
I
I don't even eat bacon, but I might actually want to try that.
It was actually pretty good. But the exposure that it's gotten me to, it's taken me to Indiana. It's taken me to Indianapolis. All different parts of Illinois. I've done a bunch of charity events, which led to me being exposed to tasting menus, tasting style menus. Once I got exposed to, there's a group of people out there who love tasting menus.
I'm one of those.
I am too now. I never really understood how tasting menus worked until working in fine dining and seeing how, number one, how what's the word I'm looking for? Prosperous?
Yes. Okay.
Fruitful it was.
Fruitful. Okay.
Fruitful it was. And just to see, once I figured out that tasting menu was such demand, I can control my time. I can control my speed, how fast I'm cooking the food. I take full control of every little detail with the tasting menu.
Right.
Because at that point, it's all about the experience and not just about just eating. And it's about your art. It's about
everything involved with that. So
making that person feel.
It's like almost like walking through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it walks them through like the whole. It's an experience.
Yeah,
a tasting menu is like an experience.
And how I'm thinking in a way, and why I'm thinking the way I am, and I kind of show that on a plate in certain dishes.
Exactly. So for those that are listening that may not be familiar with what a tasting menu is, I remember I was in D.C. and it was this Indian restaurant. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it, but they had like this tasting menu, and everything was paired with like either a wine or a drink or whatever. And because I love food so much, not only do I love to cook it, but I love to consume it. But like you said, it walks you through the chef's whole ideology of what we're doing, because you come in, you have we even had an amuse-bouche. I think I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah, you said it right.
Right. So you had an amuse-bouche, then you had the appetizer, and then you had the pairing of the drinks, and that is an experience you are eating, and the fact that you are well versed
it's true.
in the tasting menu, it gives a whole other experience of dining.
A complete different, and to some people that's intimidating, to be honest. A lot
it
of people,
can be.
It's very intimidating because at that point, you got to do some thinking too. You're thinking about, what's on this plate, why this is with this, what this wine is tasting like, why the wine tastes good with this. At that point, you're far beyond just sitting down eating food.
Exactly.
It's all about the adventure, the experience is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking for. But now that's what I'm doing to lead to.
Right.
Now I'm leading to what I'm doing now is more. I went more of the personal route with the chefs. I got out of the restaurant business back in November.
Oh,
And I just-
November of
this of
20
20.
2019?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2020.
2020.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because, yeah.
So yeah, this past November, I got out of the restaurant business and I decided to finally take that leap of faith and kind of going out on my own. And honestly, I don't think I'm gonna look back. Things have really been picking up.
You shouldn't look back because where you are right now, like everything that has happened and taken place in your life right now has got you to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I am beyond excited for what you are about to bring to the table. Like, you already have a very extensive resume as far as like how you have built yourself and what you're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you can hear, it's a very faint, gorgeous little newborn that is actually in the building. And every time she hears her dad's voice, she actually is like, yep, that's right. It is just, is one of those beautiful things of, like I said, the evolution of Dee. So to be able to be like a private chef, like, I think you were in town maybe a couple of weeks ago, and one thing that I absolutely love that you have done, your boys, your friends, the
Yeah.
ones you have been with, you brought them with you to one of your very first private dining experiences, and basically was the heartbeat of a wedding.
Yeah.
Because I saw the video footage and I saw like the integrity of you going in, the prep work, but the fact that you brought everybody that came up with you, y'all all got back together, and I'm pretty sure y'all haven't seen each other in years.
Yeah, since we left.
Since we left Hennon's. So walk me through that a little bit as far as how you were able to reach back to your friends and bring them with you in your experience of what you're doing today.
Okay. So when I left Hennon's, my cousin Kyle, that's who kind of helped me get the job at Hennon's. He actually graduated culinary school before me.
Okay.
So me, Kyle, and Landis, we all went to culinary school together.
Gotcha.
They graduated at the same time. I was like 3 months after them.
Okay.
For other reasons we'll get to one day.
Another conversation.
And so after we bonded at Hennon's, and that bond, we solidified our bond then. But so when we dispersed, Kyle kind of went the corporate route. He was the manager at Whole Foods for 8 years.
Okay.
Switched over to Earth Fare. Landis, he kind of went the same route that I went, and well, he stayed in Chattanooga, but he worked at many different places.
Okay. To keep that skill going.
To keep this skill going. And while I was in Champaign, Landis actually moved up there with me for like a year.
Did you really? Okay.
And we tried then to like get something going together, but it just wasn't the right time.
And sometimes it takes the right time. Yeah.
Looking back at it, wasn't the right time, but I've always stayed in touch with them. So when we got the opportunity to do this wedding, which was it was supposed to happen 2 years ago, it's just going to be me and Kyle, and it was going to be just something simple.
Yeah.
But thanks to COVID, it pushed it off to the following year.
So
which
you were
gave
able
us
to
more
develop
time.
a little bit more.
I was
Okay.
able to develop, and then we really started thinking, putting our brains together. And we just kind of like you and I are talking now. It's just like, what about if we're going to go it full, like all out and make this menu extensive, let's bring on some people we know and we trust and we know what they bring to the table. So I reached out to Chef Landis and Chef Cornelius. The other chef I use, he's actually married into the family.
Okay.
So it was just like perfect. It was like, and we've all four of us have tried to do something together for the past 5 years.
And it
individually with each
finally
other.
came to
And
fruition.
this one wasn't forced. This one just kind of happened.
I love
It
it.
didn't really force anything. It was like, hey, I'm doing this wedding. This is what I'm thinking about doing. Do you guys want to get in and tell me your ideas? And it was just kind of like,
Here it is.
Yeah, all the pride was put aside, and we spent like countless hours, nights, like FaceTimes, Zoom calls, like
Just trying to get everything
trying to get it
together.
all together.
Tell me a little bit about that menu, because the pictures didn't. I'm pretty sure did not do it justice. But like, yeah, tell us about that menu.
The menu was we did prime rib, we did sous vide salmon. We used a sous vide machine for our salmon. We sous vide it for about 25 minutes, and then we seared it.
Okay.
Right before serving it. We did stuffed chicken. So we did stuffed chicken roulades. So we pounded out the chickens, and then for the filling we did chopped spinach, Parmesan, sun-dried tomatoes, lemon zest, black pepper.
I just
salt,
became hungry.
garlic.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, continue.
And then we tie those up, we grill those.
Okay.
And then we just slice those to order. We did potato gratin. For those who don't know, potato gratin is pretty much just stewed potatoes in a bunch of fat, whether that be butter, cream, milk.
A whole bunch of goodness in a plate.
And a bunch of cheese. We did 4 different cheeses in it: smoked Gouda, Parmesan, bacon Gouda, and a little bit of truffle cheese as well.
Okay. See, now that just elevated the dish, ladies and gentlemen. Yep.
Mm-hmm. We also did a spring vegetable medley. We used a lot. We shopped around at the farmers market, a lot of the local farmers markets, and pretty much got all the root vegetables that we could get, and just kind of made a medley.
Okay.
And then we made a couple house-made breads. We did house-made focaccias. We did house-made Parmesan focaccia, and a house-made Italian herb focaccia.
Wow.
And we did pasta salads, some Caesar salads.
This was a very extensive wedding menu.
Yeah, it was actually, and that was it. That was it. They had an open bar, but as far as the food, they gave us full control. It was it was all of our first big events.
Okay.
Like, to this extent, and yeah, we pulled it off, and
I love it.
yeah, we were all really happy with how it turned out. And we've actually got a little bit of business from that, so.
I'm pretty sure because I actually knew a couple people that went to the wedding and they talked about the food. They raved about the food.
Nice.
So it's one of those things. It's like it's word of mouth. It's easy to advertise and do whatever, but it's like word of mouth and the integrity of the food, and like you can pour your love into certain foods. So if you could tell a person who is a younger person who is either contemplating about going to culinary school or thinking about culinary arts, what advice from your personal experience would you share with them to say don't ever get discouraged? Because you even mentioned at one point that you wanted to give up.
I wanted to quit. At one point I thought I was in the wrong business because I'd never been pushed. The advice I would give him is, number one, jump right in. If I could do it all over again, honestly, I would just have out of high school right into the restaurant business.
Okay.
To be honest, and I say that because over the past 13 years, I've seen so many good chefs that didn't go to culinary school.
Right.
And the route that they took was completely different from mine. But to see their work is like mind-blowing to me. When I started at this fine dining restaurant in Chicago, there's a 15-year-old on the line. 15-year-old. I'm not making this up. 15 years old, and I'm 22, and I'm looking at him like,
how?
Like, who is this?
What?
Like,
right.
And everyone's looking at me, look at him, like, yeah, like, this is where you want to be. I'm like, how old is he? Like 15.
Oh my goodness.
And this guy could barely speak English, but all you had to do was show him once, and
he caught on and knew how to do it.
And
but like you were 12, and you caught that bug of like learning how to be in the kitchen and create something amazing. So I don't think age has anything to do with it. Because
doesn't have. Yeah, honestly, it doesn't. And the other advice I would give is, try not to take everything personal.
Yeah.
When you come across that one person who really tries to push you, don't be blind to that. That's what they're doing. Don't take it personal, and don't miss out on the knowledge
opportunity.
You
exactly.
can get from them, because the guy who pushed me, his name's Michael Miller. Shout out to Mike. I love you. He's in Austin, Texas now, and he's not even a chef anymore. He went into
oh wow.
He actually went into engineering, decided engineering was boring, went to culinary school, and became an executive chef. And he is,
I love it.
like, hands down one of the best. But he pushed me to the point where I almost cried in the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's some pushing right there.
and you want to talk about being vulnerable and uncomfortable and not knowing what
To do? Yeah.
And all I could do was tell him, like, without trying to, like, cry, like, man, I promise I'm gonna get it. I promise I will get it together. I promise I will get it together.
I'm glad
but
he gave you that push. Sometimes we need that in life.
Ever since that moment, I really thought I was in the wrong business, and I was about to give up.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
And I'm glad I didn't either.
Yeah.
Now, you know, my sons get to see that. My daughter get to see that. I feel like I got a lot of my young family members and some of my friends' siblings and family members. They do look up to me.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons that may be. And so I am mindful of that now.
Well, good. I mean, we like, again, we evolve as people. You know, our experiences shape us to who we are. I am thankful that I, back in 2009, you know, met you and was able to, even though we haven't seen each other literally, and it's been at least 15 plus years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But the fact that we were able to, like, pick up and, like, you know, social media, thanks to social media, I'm able to, you know, look at the things that you do. And I think one time I had made a dish and put it on Instagram, and you put, like, the little fire symbol. I was like, this is such an accolade for me. I was like, a chef, like, complimented something that I created. But no, it is really awesome. I want to thank you so much for taking out time today. So can you tell us, or you know, the audience that's listening in, where can they find you now if they wanted to book you for a private dining meal? What social media outlets can they find you? Like, how far are you willing to travel? And can you talk a little bit about price, or is that something that they need to negotiate on the phone with you?
Well, yeah, I can hit on that. So you can find me on Facebook at Dee Newson, or Chef Nuke on Facebook. Also on IG, on Instagram at Chef Nuke 44. And if you want to contact me, you can contact me at chefnuke44@gmail.com. And my phone number is 217-372-1531. I do travel. And the price, honestly, it ranges for what you want.
Okay.
For example, I've done tasting menus for 10 that can range from 8 to 25.
Okay.
But that depends on what they want on their menu.
Right.
What protein is that going to include? How many courses is that going to include? I've also done dinner parties where it's all been finger foods. So
Okay.
I didn't have to do any, like, plating. I just had to make the food that they wanted and keep it coming.
Gotcha.
I've done weddings as well. So it all just the price kind of varies.
Depending on the client
Yeah,
and
depending
what
on the
it is that
client
they're
and
looking for.
yeah.
Okay.
And I do travel. Actually, I have to go to Arkansas in September for a wedding.
Arkansas.
2 days, yeah. And Landis and I we're
Okay.
gonna take on that one. And this is another person that I've worked with in the industry who reached out to me.
Okay.
He's kind of been following and giving me a shot. So it's been a slow burn, but now things are starting to turn. I've recently just moved to Nashville, so anybody in Nashville, if you're
Yes,
looking for a
please
personal
reach
chef,
out to Dee.
I am there now.
I love it.
And yeah, it's been a good journey. I'm glad you gave me this opportunity to kind of come.
It has been a
about it.
blessing. Yes, thank you. So again, this is Food for Thought with Love, and I'm Rebecca Love, and I have Dee Newson here, who just recently moved to Nashville. He's a private chef. He has an extensive amount of experience in the culinary field, and I want you to go and check him out on Instagram. Follow him. Go to Facebook. Follow him, and book him. That's what we need. We need him to get booked because you all need to experience this wonderful life of food. And like he said, what was that one quote that you said? We eat with our eyes
Eat with your
first.
eyes first, and salt is the microphone for food to speak.
Amen. That's a great note to leave out on.
It's true.
It is very true. So you all definitely follow his page. Hopefully book him so you can get, some delicious, amazing experience, because it goes beyond just food. So Dee, thank you so much for taking out time of your crazy schedule. And is there anything else that you would like to share with the listening audience about?
Well, yeah, actually to Chef Kenyatta.
Okay.
I hope you're listening, Chef Kenyatta. Now, I worked with Chef Kenyatta briefly for maybe, if I can remember, it was maybe 2 weeks.
Okay.
Landis and I, and he came in. Well, first of all, I salute everything you're doing.
Congratulations.
On everything you're doing. But at the time, he came into Hennon's, and he had such a drive and such his energy that he wanted to be like where he is now.
Right.
And Landis and I totally disrespected that.
Oh, wow.
We were just young-minded.
Okay.
So I just want to say to Chef Kenyatta, I apologize because I know I was a little asshole. I'm sorry. So I just want to say I salute you and mad respect, and thank you again.
Oh, absolutely. So, for those that are listening in, Chef Kenyatta actually was one of my first interviews with Food for Thought, and he just recently won the 2021 Chopped award for being, top top chef. I mean, I'm almost doing different television shows, but he won Chopped, and he is in the city of Chattanooga, and that's who we're speaking of. And it's full circle, the people that you know, and it's all about that 6 degrees of separation.
It's true.
But I just want to say again, Food for Thought with Rebecca Love. Dee is my special guest today. Go and check him out, and thank you all for listening in, and we'll wait to see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amplify is a podcast network made up of people of color and operating out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Amplify is a project of Rise Chattanooga, a minority-based cultural arts nonprofit organization focused on community education, performance, and arts and cultural preservation. You can find all of the podcasts on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and risecha.org. Thank you so much for listening.